Tagen, hasta mañana, hasta luego. Those last two aren't even contextually accurate.
What are you
Welcome
doing?
to Cumbersome, guys.
What the fuck are
I'm
you doing?
giving us a fucking intro, man. The
There we
last one
go.
was not great.
It wasn't.
we
It
had
wasn't.
we went right into it, mostly because we had a bit of an editing gaffe. But welcome to Cumbersome, guys. My name is Jesse. I'm here with my co-host Cameron.
Yo!
And we're here to talk about really whatever the fuck we want every week. Every other week it might be video games, movies, might just be some random slice of life stuff. But today we've got horrible horror characters that aren't monsters or the supernatural or extraterrestrial, whatever you want them to be.
This
This
was
is
an
just
idea that I devised. I saw it. I got an idea from it on resetera.com, and I thought that's a good topic because we both love
yeah.
horror.
For those who don't know, Reset Era is a very neoliberal kind of nerd forum that Cameron hate follows.
Well, dude, they're great for news. I mean, if you want the latest news on video games and current events, it's the place to go. And it's a pretty clean environment. There's not too much toxic negativity or anything. I mean, there is, but in a different way that's more palatable. So,
Yeah, that's well, it's not like that like rigid slur-filled conservative kind of
yeah, it's not like going on
toxic
Threads or
negativity.
X or Reddit or anything. Although I've been on Reddit for the past year now, and it's not that toxic. I think they're a bit strict about how you can get into conversations with one another, and they also limit how much you can actually like post messages or comments. So
They do.
go ahead.
Reddit was never really that bad. I've used Reddit I use Reddit kind of like you hate Resetera. There's parts I hate of it, but what cracks me up about Reddit is the right looks at Reddit as like a left pussy app, and the left looks at Reddit as like some sort of like Nazi breeding ground. And
Or
it's just
some middle.
it,
What do you say? Center left or center right, almost like they look at it like that.
yeah, and neither are particularly true. I mean, there's pocket. The thing with Reddit, it's just all subreddit, so it's like whatever subreddit you're in or follow is going to completely dictate your experience on Reddit. So if you're just like swimming in like Nazi propaganda on Reddit, you probably wanted that.
Yeah, and if somebody, for example, was swimming in hentai and Curb Your Enthusiasm subreddits, that's a much more pleasant experience. Much
Yeah,
more.
for me it's artistic screenshots from like films and clown porn. So
So no hentai on your end.
no, not really. I mostly just real porn on my Reddit.
Ah, well, I have that too. But oh wait, let's move on. Anyways, we're gonna go to the most horrible horror characters, or the most horrible characters in horror films. And today, we did our last crunch, so that we had all of our details written down. Not everything, but we even kind of did a half watch along with Mandy this afternoon for me, which was really really pleasant. I loved it.
That was 3 a.m. for me, so I'm running on empty, but I actually that's when I do my best performance work. So we're doing
We're
good
both
today.
night owls, my friend.
We are.
All right, so we've picked six characters, three each. Three for me, three for Jesse, and we're starting off with 1975's Jaws from Steven Spielberg. Uh,
Yeah, it's one of not Steven Spielberg's first film. I believe he has two before this. The first being a pretty cool film called Duel, and
mm,
the second is
yes,
some movie I can't even fucking remember the name of. It's some drama, like some crime drama. But so this is his big first like a blockbuster.
this actually pretty much innovated the idea of a summer blockbuster. Jaws kind of holds that prestigious nod of being the first summer blockbuster film.
Yeah,
And
it created the fad. And before we dive into our character, just a fun fact about this: when John Williams first gave Spielberg the theme of Jaws, which is just like it's like two keys on a piano,
we'll
Spielberg,
splice that
uh,
in.
Spielberg thought he was fucking with him because it's like, I mean, just think of it. Like if you now we think of it as an iconic theme, but in the moment when your composer just gives you a song that's just like da da, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this, man?" And that is exactly what Spielberg thought.
I mean, look at Carpenter. He made the most out of simplistic tones on a keyboard. Look at that chase scene at the end of Halloween. what is it?
Yeah,
Dun dun dun. It's awesome. He makes the most of just that, and it keeps building. It builds. It gets a little bit more complex, but it never gets crazy. They just keep making it more intense, and then there's that ting 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 that gets
that's my
spliced in.
favorite. That's my favorite part of that. It's yeah, pianos are creepy. That's why Super Mario 64 has one eat you. But
Yeah.
to jump into our character, we are covering the mayor from Jaws, Larry Vaughn.
Yep. This one is my pick, and we both did a watch through of Jaws the other day, and let's just say this mayor is like the biggest piece of shit of any mayor in any film I've ever seen. I mean,
I
go
Like,
ahead.
like the second you see him, he's wearing this like horrible fucking jacket. I think it's got like anchors or some sort of a sea pattern on it. And it's like it's before he even talks. You're just kind of like, who in the fuck
You
is
you
this guy?
know he's you know he's gonna be somebody that's a nuisance.
Yeah,
He's a
he's got that
nuisance.
used car salesman steez, and that's never a good sign for anything really.
Yeah, and he's the mayor of some pissant island resort that their main source of income in terms of their economy is their summer tourism. And immediately in the film, a girl dies. She's swimming out drunk, and she's in the ocean. Jaws, the shark, he gets her. And
Bruce.
immediately catches the attention of Police Chief Brody, who is the new police chief in town. It's established subtly that he's new, but a lot of people in the town don't really respect his views or his authority at this point.
They're all there's a big thing where it's like, they're all the locals, and everyone else is just, they're that's the tourist people, and the townspeople definitely they don't treat the tourists like they treat everyone else. They kind of gatekeep it.
Yep,
Like
they do.
there's a scene where they get gatekeeped. So this girl dies at the beginning, and my main note for that was when they show her body, she literally gets like Amelia Earharted with the crabs. She's just getting eaten by crabs.
Oh yeah, man. Amelia Earhart.
And
She died what 100 years ago on a flight and
yeah, and it's
got
never been
lost.
confirmed,
But
but
they
the most plausible theory of her
snow
disappearance is,
crabs.
yeah, snow crabs ate her.
Yep, there we go. And Brody, he's the main character. He's got a really cool wife. She's very well written, and her representation in the film is pretty impactful for as small of amount of time as she gets. But
And
let's
I
go
like
on.
that a lot because in the books, she's not as cool, and neither is he, and she's actually cheating on him with Richard Dreyfuss's Hooper character, which that's in the
Whoa,
book.
was the book uh, before the film?
Yeah, yeah. The all the movies except for Mandy are based off of books.
Ah, yes, you told me that. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I guess Spielberg had to make that a little bit more palatable. That's a little too dark.
Yeah.
But going on, Brody orders the beaches to be closed, and the mayor, Larry Vaughn, he immediately vetoes the order, and he's just like, "No, we got to have tourism. If the tourists hear about this kind of stuff, they're going to get freaked out, and they're going to go to Cape Cod or someplace else." And apparently,
Someplace better that they should have gone to
yeah,
anyway.
because this island, Amity, it doesn't really have much going on for itself other than tourism. And following this, like as immediately after he vetoes the idea, another boy immediately gets eaten alive in the film's first bloodbath. He's on a yellow raft and he gets taken under. And you just see red water,
it
blood just gushing
it's
up.
it's
It's
it's a
bloody.
shocking amount of blood for like it's not an R-rated movie.
It's PG.
Uh yeah, it's PG. PG-13 hadn't been made yet. That got made because of Temple of Doom, Spielberg. But
For
y-
all of
y-
our worldwide listeners, PG stands for parental guidance required or
yeah, it's like
suggested.
the
Suggested.
it's like the not for toddlers, but also, it's not going to be too edgy or for teenagers either. That's like it's that fine line between like baby movie and not something a little like preteen edgier.
Yeah, 10 or 11-year-olds could actually go and see a PG movie by themselves. So back then, there was probably quite a few who were going to see that movie and were probably traumatized by it. easily.
Oh, I've read interviews. People are like screaming and like there's fainting. It's just like like the kind of reaction you don't really see in a movie theater anymore. Like back in those days when something as horrifying as like Jaws, or if we go back to 1968 with like Night of the Living Dead, just like
Well,
the first scene of some crazy shit like that, like someone just being turned into a puddle of blood by
yeah,
a fucking like shark,
yeah.
or like getting eaten by zombies, like that made those theaters like faint and like scream.
Instead of being aliens or zombies, this film really kicked into our instincts of, oh crap, we really are not aquatic. We're not an aquatic species. We're poor in the water. Like even the fastest swimmer in the world can't beat can't outswim your average shark, average dolphin, anything, or fish for that matter. It's when we're in the water, we are completely vulnerable as a species. We suck in
Yeah,
the
and
water.
this, if you talk to, I mean, like, go ask your parents, depending on what country you live in. If it's America, ask your parents, like, about Jaws, and they will tell you about the mass fear of ocean, and even being in like a bathtub, that movie just like littered upon all those people.
Yeah, man. I was afraid of swimming. Once I saw the film, which was like 1995 or 1996, it makes you rethink going back in the water, and it lets you know, man, under the surface of the water, anything goes for aquatic sea life. Anything
Have
goes, man.
you have you ever had a before we continue on Larry, have you ever had like a real life shark encounter?
No, no, never had that happen. Although one time I was fucking with my brother and some older dude that I didn't know down in Clearwater Beach. It was 1997, and I was swimming in clear. We were on the in the shallow part of the sea next to the beach, and
Yeah.
my brother was pissing me off, and I felt a little bit of a seaweed, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And my brother was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Look at that!" And I immediately took that as an opportunity to fuck with him, and I was like, "There, right there." And he was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And then some older gentleman walked up to us. He was must have been like late 30s, early 40s. He's like, "You guys see something?" I was like, "Yeah." Oh, and I'm like looking around, stupefied, and I'm like, "Right there!" And I was kicking,
Poor
I was
old
kicking,
guy.
I was kicking the sand, and he's like, "Oh my god, is there a shark?" And I was like, and then once the sediments settled, I was like, "Oh man, I don't see it anymore." And he's like, "Well, maybe we should get out." And I was like, "No, I'm going to keep in here." And my brother got out, and I was like, "Oh, come back in." But yeah, I liked having a little bit of a one up on him that day. That was nice. Just have a mental edge over my bro, my big bro, who I do not
I
like.
s- I saw a tiger shark in Ocean City, but I was not in the water, and they aren't known for being aggressive whatsoever.
I have, however, I've seen dolphins. I've seen dolphins doing their jumping out of the water thing in a pod. Yeah, it's called a pod of dolphins. And off the coast of Bethany Beach, my mom was like, "Look at that! There's dolphins over there." And I was like, "Oh wow, that was pretty cool." But I've
If
never
I'm
seen a
being
shark.
honest, I'm more scared of coming across dolphins with sharks. There's kind of like with bears. There is like a protocol where you can make it out of a shark attack. Dolphins are just like, so they're like the Jeffrey Dahmer of the sea.
No,
If
they're
they want
not.
to fuck you up.
Orcas are the Jeffrey Dahmer of the sea.
No, I'm talking about in terms of sociopathic like deepness. So orcas aren't like, they don't operate on the same intel. Like, I mean, we're talking about like fucking dolphins, dude. These things are like,
I'm
they
I'm
will
gonna
fuck
fight
with
you on
you.
that one. I'm gonna fight with you on that one. Orcas,
I'm
they're much more
I'm not
organized than dolphins in terms of their attack abilities.
I'm
They're,
not talking about attack ability. I'm talking about the deepness of which like an animal can be sociopathic, and that's what dolphins bring to the table. Like if a dolphins will fuck with you leading up to killing or attacking you just because they get off on it. That's what I'm saying.
yes, I've heard about that before, but I'm much more interested in orcas and their strategy when it comes to attacking a sea lion on top of a berg of ice. Like the way that they form their attacks. I mean, they're doing it strictly to eat. But yeah, I guess dolphins have a bit more of a personal touch, a more
Dolphins will dolphins will literally sexually assault you. That's what I think is fucking
yeah,
crazy.
I've heard about that before, and I've seen video evidence of it too, and it ain't pretty. Um,
But anyway, so
okay,
old fucking Larry here is he's not having this shutdown of the beach. This other fucking kid dies.
then following the boy dying, um, like just know this: he wouldn't have died if Brody's order was taken seriously. And at this point, his authority is seemingly mocked. Like they go into this meeting, and Larry's his henchmen are just basically telling him, "Yo, we're gonna bury the child's death in the wanted ads." Like, dude, there was some corrupt shit going on here with this
There
mayor.
was, and, like, the fucking henchman, when you're first introduced to Larry in, like, a dialogue form, because you kinda see him walking around in the background at the beginning of the movie, he literally rolls up on Brody with, like, a fucking crew of 3 or 4, and that's a little DNA from the book because, in the book, his main motivation is that he's in bed with the mafia, and the mafia is, like, kind of forcing him to keep this beach open.
He gets it shut down, but Brody, he gets it shut down, but then Larry immediately says, "But only for 24 hours," which causes the council to go nuts. Then this crazy man played by what's his name? Robert Shaw. His name is Quint. He
Yeah.
shows up and
Classic,
verbal.
classic actor.
Oh, dude, he was Grant in From Russia with Love, and he's one of
He's
my favorite
also,
Bond villains.
he's also the main villain in, The Sting, which is, like, one of the most classic heist movies that was ever made.
I've never seen it, and I'll put that on my download list. I'll get to that after the podcast. The Sting. Yeah, what year was it?
It was like a '60s movie, I believe. It's got Robert Redford and, Paul Newman in it
Ooh,
as
is it
well.
black and white?
No, this is color.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Anyways, he verbally just neuters this meeting. He's saying every boat captain that you got in Amity, they're not up for this. We got a killer on our we got a man eater, and the mayor just says we'll consider it, and I'm like, what the fuck? You'll consider it? This guy is
Yeah,
literally
the
go
biggest
on.
fucking, like, downplay of all time. Like, we'll fucking consider it. And, like I have to put over Robert Shaw's character is, like, intensely serious about all of this to the point where you should kind of, like, you should trust him at that point. I mean, he is a bit of a shaky character, but his fear and respect and knowledge of the power of the Great White is not to be truffled with.
Trifled with. I mean, truffled or trifled?
I said truffled on, it's trifle, but I said truffled on purpose.
Nice, nice. Yeah, he's deadly serious, and his performance in the film is up there with, I'd say, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. Just his screen presence is so serious, and you can't look away. And he's got these
One
eyes. His eyes when he
1,000
speaks.
men go in the water, 300 come out. That's
Yeah,
like I love that scene.
oh man, his speech about the sharks and when they bite down and their eyes go in the back of their heads and it becomes black like a doll's eyes or whatever he was saying. It was so well spoofed by Charlie and Always Sunny. Remember when they're in they're being interrogated by the police and
Yeah.
Charlie just goes into that monologue about it's like a doll's eyes, and there's like, are you quoting Jaws?
You know the thing about a rat? It's got lifeless eyes, black eyes like a doll's eye. Don't seem to be living at all when it come at you, till it bites you. And then the eyes roll over white, and you don't hear nothing but the screaming and the hollering.
What are you doing? Are you doing the speech from Jaws?
Are
you doing Jaws?
I love that scene.
That's also like the craziest fucking, like, the story of that monologue. I was actually really paying attention to it this time. He tells them a story about how they're, like, delivering a bomb and, like, like over the seas, and, like, a shark just kills like 300 like
It was
there's 700 of them.
it was a ship called the Indianapolis, and it went down. It was a famous it happened in World War II, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, the ship went down, and all these Marines or soldiers, they were all flooded at sea. I mean, they were all what's the term for that when you're what's the term for that?
Marooned.
Marooned. There we go. And they're all marooned, and these sharks, this huge herd of, I don't know what a pod of sharks is called, a herd of sharks, but they're just picking
A
off
gaggle of
a
sharks.
gaggle. They're all picking off these soldiers. I'm sorry for laughing about this. This is a true story. And by the number went from 1,000 to 300 Good lord.
Yeah,
They,
that's like 700 people just slaughtered. That's like if you think about the logistics of that for too long, it's actually absurd, but
yeah.
it's a good speech.
These sharks, and they're not going away either because these sharks realize, oh wow, we have like tons of food right here. We're gonna stay here for a few days and just wait this one out. And like sharks need 20, 30, 40,000 calories worth of meat per day to even like go on. Um, anyways,
But yeah,
uh,
back to old Larry.
yeah. Two guys who tried to fish the shark from the pier, they almost die. They go out at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. They throw out a large chunk of meat from the dude's wife's fridge or freezer. Um, the shark pulls the pier out, and they barely get out alive. One of them has to swim up onto the pier. Homeboy pulls him up, and at this point, our good buddy Hooper comes in. Hooper is
Good
the
old good old Richard Dreyfuss, who
he's
just a
he's the
fun little.
tritagonist.
Yeah, good old Richard Dreyfuss, who during the like the anniversary screening they had recently, decided out of nowhere to just go on a cancel culture, like anti-cancel culture speech, like during the fucking Jaws tour.
Really? Like what are you
Yeah,
talking about? I haven't heard
he
this.
he has allegations of being inappropriate on set, and so he basically went up for a speech during the like the theater premiere of the new screening of Jaws, and he just out of nowhere just went rogue completely. Was like, and my career's been hurt by cancel culture and blah 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 blah. That you've heard it before.
What a dick. And he kind of
Yeah,
comes off like that on screen. He
yeah.
does seem
Hooper's
like the
got
kind of guy who
those.
would go on.
He's got those he's too nice, but he's also a little dickish, and he's probably got some allegations in his closet.
Even the character itself. He comes in. He identifies that the bite radius on a shore-wide shark catch doesn't match the first victim because they catch a big shark, but he measures the bite radius and he's like, "This is well, like, we need to have an autopsy on the first bite victim, or we need to have an autopsy on the shark and have it opened up and see what's inside." Because he says a shark takes about 24 hours to digest, and we need to see if that boy is in there. And the mayor just ixnays this because, per his PR softening classes, he's like, I'm not going to have that Kurtner boy's body spill all over this dock. And the Kurtner boy was the second victim. Then Brody gets slapped by the boy's mom. She's there.
She should slap the mayor too. What pissed me off
Oh
is
my
that
god.
the mayor just like lets Brody take that.
Oh,
He doesn't. He just like
dude,
sits
I was
there.
gonna say that too, man. Like she goes off on him about not closing the beach, and the mayor is standing right next to him. He lets him take all of that, man. What a piece of shit. That's terrible. It was
And
all his fault.
it was, and there's another part like around here that pisses me off, where he's like more concerned with catching someone who vandalized like the town billboard than all of the shark shit that's like
Oh, I was
currently
just about
happening
to get in
around him.
that. Yes, yes. Like, uh, what happens there? They're walking because at that happened because Hooper and Brody went out. They went off to the shoreline where the shark was, estimated to be going back and forth on, and they've come across a fisherman's boat. And Hooper drops a great white tooth after seeing the fisherman's dead body under the hull. Like he goes under in scuba gear. He gets a what he picks apart a tooth, and then the dude just the dead fisherman, you just see his body with his eye just like pecked out by something, I don't know. But they go back and they're on the beach with the mayor, and they're giving him the third degree. It's like, but all he gives a shit about is the beach welcoming sign being vandalized. And in the most beautifully unlikable boomer manner possible, the mayor says, I want those little paint happy bastards caught and hung up by their Buster Browns. And and Hooper walks away in disgust. He comes back and he's like, all right, he's making one last attempt to get Larry to have a profound realization. And he says, and Larry just kind of barks back at him, you'd love to prove that. Get your name in the National Geographic, which makes Hooper just start laughing like a maniac. Like, because at this point, Hooper's checked out mentally. He's
He's
checked
just
out
yeah,
with the
he's like,
sack.
this place fucking sucks. I'm a young rapey liberal, and I'm out of my element.
Yep. Larry, the shittiest and most selfish mayor in the history of Amity, he orders the beaches to stay open for the 4th of July the next day. And that's when all
Because
hell
in
breaks loose.
this is well let me there's but like just a little offshoot leading into this is some fishermen catch a tiger shark, the thing I saw at Ocean City that like mostly avoids people, and they're very very small too, and it's like clearly this fucking tiny tiger shark did not do the killings, but it's good enough for Larry, and he's like, well, we got the shark, and so he opens on July 4th. Continue.
So it's the 4th, and the beach is packed, but no one's going in. Like no one's because the townspeople
Oh,
know
this
about this. Like
yeah, they're like
they know what's going on. They're not stupid. Collectively, they all realize that there's been shark attacks, and they're probably not too into the mayor's decision to keep the beaches open. But the mayor's got a lot of connections, and he knows a lot of people there, and he sees his buddy and his family there sitting. He's like, why you ain't going into the water? And he demands his longtime friend to get into the water with his family so that everyone else will follow suit. And then,
basically like without a gun but at gunpoint, like
yes,
the vibe is like, get in there, man, you
yeah, the
better
vibe is,
fucking
if you don't do this, I'm gonna make your life a little bit more difficult. And he gives an almost evil smile as everyone starts following suit, because once that family goes in, it's the domino effect. Everyone else goes into everyone starts going into the water. And instead of preparing any sort of beach activities for families and tourists, Larry just insisted that everyone just go swimming. That's all he cared about. And he's so concerned about the helicopters hovering above, and they got a search party out in the sea looking for the shark. But all he cares about, get in the water. That's it. But no, he could have, this is me being so angry and knowing what it takes to call an audible. Like, they should have prepared for the past few days in the story. They should have had like extra activities and stuff ready for people. Anything, volleyball, a
it's
volleyball tournament, something like that.
exactly. I like have like, oh, like a maybe invest in a water park or something like that. I mean, they all they seem to have is like like some sort of like July 4th parade situation that they've got going on.
Well, Jesus Christ, dude! You're asking them within a week to build a water park. That's like a multi-million-dollar investment.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking the time frame there. I was just I was just kind of
Let's
like,
just
maybe
get a
just build one.
Let's get a
Maybe
water park built.
just build one to have, man. Fuck, you're a fucking you're like a shanty town. Get fucking do something about
They
it.
could have done something like that. They could have had water slides made or anything like that. Just I mean, come on, man. Carnivals, traveling state fairs do that stuff. They're able to pack everything up and go from city to city over the course of the summer.
Yeah, they're able to pack an entire roller coaster that has like a 30% chance of randomly killing you in a like fucking suitcase.
But I guess for an economy as shitty as Amity's, Larry didn't want to. Larry didn't want to open his wallet for that one. Then, it, lo and behold, a shark bites a dude's leg off, and he's dead, like permanently shocking Brody's son, because Brody's son, he went off with a boat with his friends off to the side, and what was it called, the pond? Like there's a part
Yeah,
of
it was
the
like it's like the basically like the swimming hole. The
yeah.
main like there's usually like a roped off deeper swimming spot that you can kind of just go into, and that's where they're just like hanging out.
Well, the shark got in there and he bit some dude's leg off, and you see this leg dropping down, man. Like, it's really graphic. I remember seeing that when I was a kid and thinking, okay, that was a bit much. That's an
Yeah,
intense visual.
that should have like I'm surprised they didn't get an R rated between that and the blood pool.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen Jaws, look up the leg biting scene. It is, for 1975. These are some practical effects that will hold up even today. It's amazing. It looks fantastic. As fantastic as a bitten off leg can look. But yeah, that guy
So
died.
in the midst of all this, Brody's son is also put in danger, and Brody has to go save him. He immediately goes to Larry because you're fucking pissed off, and Larry is just which is a theme we will see with a few of these characters when they're finally faced with their actions at the end of their run.
Yeah, in the
He turns into
hospital,
a
he's basically in a state of catatonia. Like,
Yeah, they just turn into like sniveling, worthless, like pieces of shit. Then he has the famous, my kids were in there on that beach too, like,
man, screw you, bro. Screw you.
and that
You
is,
caused all this.
yeah, dude, fuck Larry Vaughn. That
Oh,
is
and
the,
to top it all off, that son of a bitch was smoking in a hospital. And
yeah,
that
I think you could do that back then. That was just normal.
still, I mean, I'm sure even in 1975, most people probably had the idea of, or had the thought of, smoking in a hospital. That's a bit low class there. I mean,
I mean, like, I get in the waiting room, yeah, but it may be low class, but it's not like he's like lighting up in the cancer ward or anything like that.
fair enough. I like your small defense of Larry smoking there, because right now I'm smoking a cigarette too, and I do enjoy a smoke. But yeah, fuck Larry
So do
Vaughn.
I.
Bad man.
Uh,
Bad man.
yeah. And
Uh,
on to our next character. This was my pick. We're going to the '80s for Herbert West from the pretty shocking film Re-Animator.
one of
Um,
my
what, what what
favorites.
what cracks me up about Herbert West is that he is looked at as sort of like an anti-hero protagonist,
He kind of
and
is. He kind of
and
is, man.
he's slightly spun like that. But if you really look at what this man does, which we're about to go into, he is just a fucking terror to everyone around him, endangering them with like undead creatures. But B, he is just about the worst fucking roommate that could ever exist. So the
Yes, he's
beginning
an
of this
agent.
movie,
What would you call him? An agent of chaos?
yeah, he's just a pure mad scientist. All he only cares about, like basically getting rid of death, resurrecting the dead, nullifying death completely. And in that way, he's kind of like, his intentions are good, but he goes about it by injecting people with the serum that turns them into these like blood spewing, like awful fucking like they're kind of zombies, not really, sort of creatures. And the movie starts out with him literally just doing this to his mentor. It's not because his mentor died or anything. He just decides to inject his mentor.
Yep, it's the opening scene of the film, and this serum is the most stereotypical, like,
It's the green
movie.
goop.
Yeah, it's the green goo. It's neon green. It's got this neon green hue to it, and you just know nothing. I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and we all know green goo is no good.
Yeah, there's
Green goo is
nothing.
no good.
And a fun fact about his mentor is his mentor's name is actually Hans Gruber, and this movie came out 3 years before Die Hard.
Is that who the villain in Die Hard was named after?
I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not, but I don't think it is, but it
Hans
very well
Gruber?
could be. It also just could be the work of just like-minded 80s stereotypical German naming, just like that is a very stereotypical German name, just Hans
Hans.
Gruber.
Hans. The name Hans in
Yeah.
itself is very, very German.
Yeah,
Uh,
Hans is about as German as it gets.
what is Walter Gunther in WWE? His name is Walter Hahn, and he's
Yeah.
Austrian, but like we all associate him with
And
Germany.
Austrians are, they're practically German. That's probably really awful of me to say, but
They're practically
I'm I'm
German.
I'm I'm third generation German, so I could say these things.
Nice.
Uh,
Okay, go on.
so Herbert West ends up transferring to an American university where our main character and his girlfriend are going to. The main character is a medical student at the university, and his girlfriend is the dean's daughter. Um,
Oh, that Dean, he's a sleazeball. He's
No,
oh
it's the head professor of the medical, Dr. Carl Hill, who
ah
is
yes, okay, got it.
he is the head of the medical thing. He does not like the main character, and he does want to fuck his girlfriend, and that
Yeah,
becomes
that's really gross. That's a
it
gross
is.
one.
And an interesting thing about his character is that he has this weird thing where it's like he goes into almost like a hypnosis sort of state where if he like locks in on one of the characters, he can talk them into whatever he wants them to do. Originally in the movie, he was supposed to be like he was supposed to have like hypnotic powers, like he was an actual hypnotist. They cut that out, but they kept like the weird hypnotic trance in, so it really kind of doesn't make sense. But
Would you have approved of that being left into the movie?
yeah, it would make sense that like those kind of college professors just study a bunch of random shit like that. They'll be like, yes, I have a doctorate in hypnotism too.
I dig it.
It's like
I would have
it's like I
dug.
have
I would
a
have dug that. That would have
it's
been
like I have a
a nice
I'm
point.
a I'm a brain surgeon. I have a doctorate in hypnotism and a minor in like African studies. That's like what what college people are like.
So this son of a bitch, he gets Herbert West. He manipulates his way into living with this dude and his girlfriend, and he takes what
He
the
actually
go
he
ahead.
actually doesn't manipulate him. They put up an ad for a new roommate, and he's the one who moves in. He rolls up on them while they're having sex. Basically, he's just there. He's the main character is showing his girlfriend to the door. They open it. Herbert's just standing there. He hasn't knocked. He hasn't rung a doorbell. He's
But
just standing there.
doesn't she have a bad vibe with him like right off the bat?
Yes, because he's really fucking like creepy. He's got that like he's a deeply like autistic scientist, man. So his social skills aren't like up to top, but he also has that Jeffrey Dahmer look with like
Yeah.
the
Okay, he's
hair
like
and the fucking.
I'd say he's a mix of Jeffrey Dahmer and Rick Moranis.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And Jeffrey Combs, the actor who plays him, actually went on to become a major player in multiple Star Wars series, just always playing different alien character parts.
Well,
And
as
most
like
of
as a voice actor, yeah.
no, like in the actual, like in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, like the '90s Star Trek shows, he was like in them.
Oh shit! Okay, cool, nice, good for him.
So he moves in immediately. The main character's
Focuses on the
cat goes
cat.
missing.
Focuses on the cat real quick. Gets into that
and
cat.
and cats, because cats do have that like people sense. The cat does not like him from the beginning.
Yes, but let's sidebar on cats. Jesse and I are huge cat lovers. We
Oh
think,
yes, we're a big fan of the kitty cats.
I think Jesse and I could easily say, amongst the two of us, speaking for ourselves, I'm speaking for both of us. Cats are the most unique and alien creatures in the entire planet. They're so cool.
Little, just very, very, very what's the intuitive like gremlins.
They have very cool idiosyncrasies and nuances that just they're always doing something that you're not prepared for. They're always going to bust. So basically, we're cat lovers. We love our cats.
You love some cats. I got me a cat myself. She's really mean, and I can't really pet her. And as of last night, she's learned how to open our refrigerator to get her cat food out of it. So that's been fun.
Amongst the two of us, how many cats do you think we've owned? Off the top of my head, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've had about like 8 or 9 cats in my life.
Probably, I think we're at like a good like 20 between the two of us at the very least. I would say.
We grew up in cat families. Dad loved cats. Mom loved cats. We're cat people, but we've never become cat ladies or cat men in regards to like hoarding them and making them. Go ahead.
I can only really handle one. I mean, I can barely take care of myself sometimes, so it's like I could do one cat.
One cat. Jessica can handle one cat. Once it dies, on to the next one. But every time
that's the horrible part about cats. You're signing up for like it's like a 10-year contract for just grief.
Oh man, dude, I've lost some really nice cats, and whenever they die, remember when Ely died, and he was like coughing up blood, and it was like, oh, I had to call off work that day, and my dickhead boss Luke Cooper works at Natural Concerns, one of the worst. One of the worst managers I've ever had.
Full doxing. Yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this guy, he's a right-wing nut job. But when I called off because my cat died, he questioned it. He's like, "Your cat died?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, my cat died. I've had Ely for 8, 9 years. We rescued him, and he's probably like 13 or 15 years old. Came up, he was hiding because cats, when they get sick, they hide. But then once he started going into his final hours, he came up, and I was, it was, dude, losing a cat or losing any pet, regardless, but cats, like he was coughing up blood, and it's like that hits you emotionally. So I guess
It does. It's why I used to work in the animal industry for a shelter and for a while of vet practice, and I had to stop working at them because of just that. Like, yeah, I mean, it's like it's still death. People kind of like put animals down as lesser creatures than humans, and they are, but it's still a living thing that you formed a bond with.
and they are. I love Jesse just sidebar, and they are. Did
But
you
it's
ever?
like it is a
Go
creature
ahead.
you've bonded with, and when you lose any sort of creature you bonded with, you're gonna grieve that. It's
I remember Jesse and I watching an episode of Always Sunny when Cricket was working in an animal shelter for dogs, and I remember one of the boss comes out and says, "Maddie, I have a mastiff with explosive diarrhea. I've never seen anything like it." And you cracked up and you're like, "Oh my god, I've been there." You said, like, you were just like, "I know exactly what that is. I know
yeah,
exactly."
mastiffs with their big like shit sludge diarrhea pancakes because the fucking soup it comes out like a pancake.
Dude, oh man, we were watching that together. That was great. It's a season 8 episode, if I remember correctly. That was when I was living with the in Towson with the who were they? Brandon and Jordan. But yeah, that was amazing. Anyways, back to Herbert West and his
So
fixation on
the
his cat.
so the cat goes missing. They eventually run into Herbert's room looking for it. Open his
Freezer.
open his yeah, his little, it's like a mini fridge that he has in his room. Also, he's like really not interested. The other creepy thing is he's not interested in the room. When he sees the house, just going back, he goes down the basement, and like this like creepy, dusty, worthless basement is what makes him go, oh yeah. uh so they find that they in this fridge they find this fucking dead cat in the goop, the wonderful 80s green goop. And Herbert immediately walks in, not even caring that there's a dead cat, just like, what the fuck are you doing in my room?
Yes,
This is
this is
like,
my room. This is my private space.
he really is like, whoever wrote this had a bad roommate, because like, even though it's like extreme shit, the cadence of bad roommate in this is just like, it's just so on point, where it's just like, he just killed your cat, but like, you ate his potato chips or in his room
Yep.
finding your dead cat, and
Yo,
all of a
roommates
sudden
can
you're
be
the fucking
petty.
asshole.
Roommates can be so petty, man. And I think all of us living in this world have had a bad roommate story. I like to think that
Oh
most of
yeah.
us have a lot of experience with multiple bad roommates. I've had
I had
them.
a
You've had them.
I had a roommate that shaved his beard on our island and didn't like sweep it up. And this is when I was living with my friend and old comedy partner Hasday, and this other fucking comedian that he will go unnamed. But
Well, the fact that
he
you used the word fucking before even mentioning him lets me know that he was not an approved person.
anyway, I'll keep this one short. We found his beard shavings on our kitchen island, and like me and Hasday comes into my room to like, well, he knocks on the door, is like, hey, and I come out. Me and Hasday both have unruly depression beards at this point. So we're looking at each other. We're like, it's not us. And then this dude comes walking in, fresh fucking trim, freshest trim you've ever seen, man.
He had to be fucking with you guys.
You could practically smell the aftershave on him. And he looked us dead in the eyes and went, "Oh, that's not mine. I'll clean it
Oh,
up though." The classic. I'll clean it up though, because he knew he fucked up.
it wasn't me, but I'll clean it up. Come on, man. Get out of here. Like that is some
So
bullshit.
so Herbert denies killing the cat. Now this is up for debate whether the
He's
cat
nice,
died.
dude.
He says the cat got its head stuck in a jar,
Yes, he
and
does.
that
He makes a very, very weak argument as to why the cat is dead.
and so he yeah, that just ends, and he's like, "I'll get rid of the cat for you," basically. And then he takes the cat to the basement. The fact that they just give him the cat corpse. Uh
They
not
give him the cat corpse.
They're just like, all right, yeah, just get rid of it. He
Nice.
ejects the cat with the serum, and the cat goes full zombie. Now, if that's not like I I've heard a few my roommates killed my cat story before, but this one takes the cake, because I mean, like, Since when is the roommate then brought the cat back from the fucking dead?
I mean, he then after bringing the cat back from the dead, he gets the main character. What's the main character's name?
Cain, Cain, like Cain and Abel, Cain.
Okay, so he gets Kane down there and says, "Look what I've done! Like I've brought him back." And then Kane, he's not exactly the brightest bulb in the pack. He's like, "Whoa!" He's very fascinated by it, and he brings his girlfriend. Doesn't he
This
bring
is
the girlfriend
this
down?
not yet. They
Not yet.
actually
Okay.
they keep it from her for a bit. I will say what's funny about this is that he's on board with it.
He
After
is.
he has to kill his own cat, like his own reanimated cat. He like beats it to death with like a fucking some sort of blunt object, and Herbert's like laughing hysterically at this. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like ha, 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 ha. Like, I mean,
And then he brings it back to life again for a second time. Like
and but this time it's okay because he makes sure to tell Kate it's okay. Its neck is broken. It can't do anything.
Jesus. Oh, it's a dark scene with a cat, man. But it's almost comedic because Reanimator, it's one of those camp 80s horror films that has serious tones, but man, they really go in on scenes like this with like how maniacal Herbert West is and how kind of oblivious and stupid Kane is. And the girlfriend is the only sane person here. She's the only
Played
one
by
here.
classic 80s video nasty scream queen Barbara Crampton, who she's hot.
Yeah, she plays Megan Halsey in that the movie. She's the girlfriend, basically. Kane is the boyfriend, and she's the girlfriend, and
Yeah.
she has the most logistically sound argument against getting Herbert out of there. She's like,
Yeah, he's
"No,
bringing shit back from the dead. He's causing Kane to like miss classes, and it's affecting this like his schoolwork, and it gives Dr. Carl Hill ammo to eventually turn the dean against Kane. Because at the beginning the dean likes Kane. He doesn't know he's banging his daughter, but at that point I don't think he would care because Kane's like, yeah, he likes him. But the Herbert West thing actually, like, Herbert like ruins Kane's life. These like all of his academic accomplishments start to fall apart. The people that he made like connections with start to not trust him. It ruins his relationship.
dude, this is the product of having an agent of chaos come into your life.
Now
This is the
to
product of that.
now
This
to
is the
kind of comb
results."
over the ending, the what ends up happening is Herbert ends up injecting the deed.
What
And
he cuts his head off with a shovel, doesn't he?
yes, eventually he ends up injecting the dean, and he ends up injecting a corpse first that they find in the school. The dean walks in on them and gets killed, so he brings the deed back to life because it's like he's like, oh, it's a fresh corpse. The fresher they are, the more like kind of sentience and lucidity they have. And then
Hypothetically or theoretically, I was down with I was down with the idea of, okay, the fresher they are, the better chance you have of having them be more lucid and abled when they actually get reanimated.
I'm not calling him a bad scientist. I'm giving him, like, for me he's more of an Ian Malcolm. Like, you thought so much about whether or not you could, you didn't think about whether you should. That's kind of like Herbert West.
Yeah, I agree completely,
So
100%.
he ends up getting caught by Dr. Carl Hill, our hypnotic weird villain, um, who uses his hypnosis on Herbert. I think Herbert shrugs it off because he's able to knock the doctor out, behead him, and
Oh,
then separately injects both his body and his head with the liquid. This causes Dr. Carl Hill to basically go rogue and steal all of his goop, and then inject as many bodies in like the school morgue as he
The
could.
morgue. Yeah, man, that's where basically the end of the movie takes place. And then he injects some very strong man. It's like a bodybuilder type, right? I
Yeah, that's the first that's actually Herbert's fault. That's the first guy Herbert injects in the morgue. He picks the freshest body, which is this fucking like just ripped like
ripped.
warrior.
I wouldn't say he's ripped so much as he's just like what's the term?
He's like
Gas.
Harley Race cut.
Yeah, yeah. He's a beefy boy, and he causes chaos immediately. Like he
So
gets up.
yeah,
Go on.
The argument I'm bringing to the table here is Herbert West the protagonist. I think Kane more is in this movie. Really, Herbert is the source. Dr. Carl Hill is creepy, yes, but he ends up being a victim of Herbert, and Herbert gives him the power to like enact further chaos and basically just spread a bunch of fucking undead creatures. Because of this, like Dr. Carl Hill's like beheaded head also like basically like kind of rapes fucking
Oh,
Kane's girlfriend.
that's a nasty scene, man. Oh my god.
That's probably the most like vivid.
Yes, it is.
Like,
He basically with his beheaded corpse, like wasn't he like sucking on her tits and stuff like that? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
and,
oh.
and and basically like goes down on her, and then he gets like then that's when he gets stopped. But
Yeah, that's yeah, Herbert West. I'm looking at his Wikipedia profile. There's a great cover art for a Re-Animator comic. Let me send it to you real quick, man. This is brilliant work right here. He looks fantastic in this comic cover. I'm sending it to you right now on Facebook, and just check this out. I've
if
never
you've
seen
never
this before in
dived
my life.
if you've never dived into the world of horror comics, I highly recommend it. It always has very very great art and interesting stories that usually expound upon IPs you already liked. I used to read a Hellraiser comic when I was younger. I thought was pretty fantastic, to be
Look
honest
at
with
it.
you.
I just sent it to you, man. That is some awesome art of Herbert West. He's got like these black tentacles in the background that are of unknown origin. He's holding the syringe filled with the green serum. He's got that little Superman curl, but it's going upwards, and he's got just like this is a great piece of art. Are you looking
It
at it
makes him
right
look
now?
yeah, it makes him look way more
Sinister.
handsome
Handsome
and
and
sinister.
sinister. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
And
Anyways,
that's
go on.
that's Herbert West. We like him more than Larry Vaughn, despite the fact that he's responsible for just as many, if not more, deaths.
And okay, on a side note, I love the theme of the film. Reanimator has one of the greatest, outright greatest opening and end credits theme songs I've ever heard in my life. It is it is
Top top
otherworldly.
notch, top notch '80s horror, like '80s B horror composition,
Yeah,
definitely.
man. If any of you have not seen Reanimator, just Google the main theme of it. Reanimator. It is just a fantastic 1985 horror film. It is
Yeah,
awesome.
go watch it. Just
Yeah,
hold your lunch.
definitely hold your lunch when you watch it. But you know me, man. I'll eat anything when I'm watching horror. I don't care. I don't get. I'm not one of those people who are like, I'm eating right now. Like I can't see something like that. Like horror doesn't do that to me. I've never actually been in a
It doesn't
situation.
do it to me, but it does it to enough people that like if a movie is particularly like splattercore, kind of like Reanimator, I will be like, even maybe maybe don't do it on full stomach.
Maybe this cream of spinach ain't gonna be too too agreeable with my body right now while watching this. But nah, I've never had that. All right, so going into our next horrible character from horror films, we are at 1990s. Is it 1990 or 1991? It's the
Uh,
film.
I think it's 90.
Okay,
I don't quote me on that, but I do think it's 90.
okay, 1990s Misery, and the character in this film is Annie Wilkes.
I I'm sure most of the people listening to this immediately have the wonderful image of Kathy Bates in her homely dresses.
Oh, her homely dresses. This woman dresses like she's in the 1940s, man. She's like a 1940s, uh, always there on Sunday morning, goes there Monday, Wednesday, Friday just to do her prayers. But she's straight evil. She's straight up evil, man. This is one of the worst people you could ever have stalking you. And she is a stalker. This woman,
She's not only is she a stalker, she's an angel of death too. I always thought that was the cool twist when you find out that she's an angel of death. She's a nurse that is just killed countless amounts of patients, mostly babies.
oh, well, they're not even patients. They're babies, man. She's a baby murderer. Like, she's an infant. What would you call that? Infanticide? Like,
Infanticide, the actual term for that like specific sort of like nurse or doctor, killing patients, but like also babies, is angel of death.
Wow. Okay, that's where the term came from, huh? Damn.
Yeah, well, I think Angel of Death comes from, like Death is technically Death himself is an angel, but they're named that after Death because they're bringing death to, like, they think they are, like, all those kind of murderers. Their entire psyche, their mo sort of like is that they like having the power of bringing death to people. It's like your life is in their hands. It's like a god complex almost.
Well, it happened after she got divorced. She alludes to the fact that her husband left her. Like
Yes.
she
This is I won't go super into it, but this is expounded upon much more in the book. They kind of hint at the divorce in the movie. In the book, they actually you go into who her ex is and why he left and yada yada. I won't go into all that, but
well, go ahead. I would like to know more about it because I've never actually read Stephen King's novel.
he just couldn't take her there's actual word, it's like her just intolerable consistent cruelty.
Intolerable, insistent cruelty. That would define her very well. That's an apropos description of her because this woman is fucking nuts. Like this woman. Okay, so basically, Paul Sheldon, he's a novelist. He writes Victorian romance novels, and his big hit, his big thing that's been keeping him going is a character named Misery Chastain. The books are really, really successful. They have a nice hardcore fan following, and every time he writes a book, he goes to this. He lives in New York, right? So he goes into
Yes.
the yeah. Okay, he goes into the backwood areas of New York, and he goes to this hotel. It's very, very isolated, and he's got his whole like ritual, Dom Perignon champagne, smokes a cigarette after he's done every book. He's not a smoker, but he always smokes one, as Annie is quick to point out. She saw him on
Well, he
Merv.
used to he used to be a smoker but quit, but he still smokes one cigarette when he finishes a book.
Yeah, and Annie, Annie Wilkes, she knows all of this stuff based on multiple interviews he's done, specifically a Merv Griffin interview that he did back in
the,
1980
the,
or
the, Merv, the
79.
Merv Griffin drop cracks
Yep,
me up
I
so
like that
much.
one too, man. It always reminds me of the Seinfeld episode.
Oh,
Um,
same.
anyways, Annie, Paul, he's driving back, and there's a terrible snowstorm, and like the roads are icy. These are back roads that aren't as taken care of and attended to as city roads.
We're in Colorado, so that
Oh,
that
whoa,
should
okay,
that should that should give you an idea of how icy and fucked these roads are. We're
okay.
we're
So,
in like some backwoods Colorado shit.
yep, okay, my bad. I thought it was like upstate New York and some sort of like forest area, but yes, it is Colorado. And he loses control of his car. He careens off into the side and goes down a hill, and he's basically fucked. He's done for. There's no way of saving him. Any normal person would have died because he can't even get out of his
His
car.
Yeah, and his legs are like shattered.
So even if he was able to open the car or a window, he wouldn't be able to walk anywhere. So a mysterious figure takes a crowbar, opens up his car. It's Annie Wilkes. He wakes up in a bed in this farmhouse, and it's only Annie. And at first, she doesn't let him know who she is and how big of a fan she is. She's much more like, "Oh, I'm a nurse, and I know what to do in terms of handling people and situations like this, and we're gonna get you back into health." And then she slowly but surely can't really contain herself because she knows she's got him. And this woman is a Misery stan. Like the book series Misery.
Extreme.
She's a
And
complete.
she
Go on.
she is a very accurate portrayal of just the frumpiness, the fucking weird connection to the character, the unhingedness of if I don't know if you've ever met like an extreme fan of a book series kind of like that, but it is very, very, very much Anne Wilkes.
Yeah, I mean, there are Harry Potter fans of what J.K. Rowling, Stephen King fans, and I've never met an actual book nut who ever went to this length to express their fandom for an author.
Don't quote me on this because I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I'm just context cluing stuff together. I do believe this might be like because it's a Stephen King book. This might have been like Stephen King's like story about his weird book fans.
It might have been, man. That would be no surprise to me.
It's also probably about I don't know what happened to that man when he was writing books in the snow, but something traumatic because between this and The Shining, a lot of dark novels about just writing a book in the snow.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah, Stephen King does kind of have a snow obsession. Um, anyways, Annie lets it slip out that she's his number one fan, and she tells him the telephone lines are down, so there's no way of contacting any sort of hospital, police, or anything like that. So he's basically at her mercy, and she notices that he has a book written on because his latest book has just come out and she's been reading it and it's the finale, but she also notices that he's been doing another book and she's like, can I read it? And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And she comes back in and she just uncharacteristically, at this point it's uncharacteristic, she notices that he's using cuss words and obscenities in the book, and she's like, Paul, how could you use language like that? And he's like, well, I'm doing something different. And then she goes into this, she just flips a switch and she gets angry about the use of obscenities, and she spills his tomato soup on him. And at this point, she's still lucid enough to know that she's obviously portraying a crazy side of herself.
Yeah,
And
she's cracking.
yeah, she's cracking, and she loves Paul Sheldon to a point where it's obviously unhealthy, and she flies into a rage, man, and she also tells Paul at this point, she gets so angry at him at one point, she says, and nobody's going to come and help you. You're not going to get in contact with anyone.
Yeah,
You're
and this is
lying.
after she's lied to him. But like prior to this, she has told him that she contacted both his agent and the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, she lets it slip pretty early in the film. I'd say about like 1/3 or 1 or 2/5 of the way through. Like, nobody's coming for you. You're stuck here, and I got you. So she makes him burn his manuscript for the new book he's writing. She's like, you got to burn this. I
And
can't tolerate this.
this was her big dumb moment. She's so overcome by passion about him burning this book that she like doesn't think of the logistics of like burning a fucking bunch of paper on a barbecue grill inside of a house.
Oh God.
Immediately it goes out of control and she's like, "Oh my god." She's like, "Heavens to Betsy" or something like that.
Oh, and the way the language she uses, she never ever cusses in the film, does she? She uses terms like cock-a-doodie, like her
Oogie. That's the
yes.
one. When she said oogie, that's when I was like, that should have been the first red flag. Anyone that uses the word oogie.
Yeah. She's got this filter on herself, but it comes out in really unhinged ways where you can tell she's not cussing, but she's wanting to cuss. She wants to do it, but she has this weird control over herself, but it comes out like a crazy person. She's unhinged. She's just batshit crazy, man. She's your worst nightmare. And she reveals to Paul that sometimes she goes to the hotel that he stays at when he's writing, and she just looks up at his window. She looks up at his window and shit. Like, I don't know if that hit him immediately, but that would have been my first red flag when she
Yeah, you're
says,
fun. That would have and that's kind of like that sparks some theoretical debate. That line about whether or not his crash was as natural as it may have seemed.
so you think like there's a possibility that she sabotaged his car or maybe his brakes?
Yeah, or something like that. I'm not saying like I don't think that's such like a flash in the pan theoretical thing, and not enough has been fleshed out into it. But I mean, like that line, food for thought, just something fun to think about.
It is,
Maybe she
man.
did.
Yeah, it is. It's. I mean, come on, man. She was right there when the crash happened. Like
That's the other thing. She's right there, and everything is like, she's got him set up and everything, and it's just like it does really fucking seem like maybe this was a bit more premeditated than
maybe.
as it seemed at the surface.
So the fact that she's like locking him in the room and his legs don't work, she does make the mistake of giving him a wheelchair, which allows him to get a bobby pin. She goes out because what I think he asked her for
No
because
paper. She
right.
makes him write. He's writing a new. He kills off Misery. Well, we gotta get to that. Like, we'll spawn over this really quickly. So he kills off Misery in his book. He lets her read the book. The tension building up to her getting the Misery dying is like, because it takes her a while to read the book. Is really great because once she gets to that, like, it's gonna get worse.
Yep.
And then she does, and she snaps, and she basically is like, you're gonna. She makes him. That's when she makes him burn his new book, and she's like, you're gonna write like a new Misery ending where she doesn't die. And so
She gives him a
he asks,
typewriter. She gives him a
yeah,
typewriter.
he asks for more paper, and then she fucking snaps on him, which is like, what is he gonna write the book on, lady?
Yep. And he's like, well, I need this. I think he called it long form white paper. Like I need long white or something like that. And she's like,
Yeah,
I've done all this for you, and this is this is how grateful you are for it. And she snaps and she goes out. But he's a crafty dude. Gets a bobby pin and gets out of the room and starts perusing the area. And he notices, okay, here are the pills that she's giving him. And he goes into the kitchen. He I think he grabs a knife. She's coming back and he hears her car coming. He struggles to get back in, and then boom. Now we're at a point where he knows, okay, my life is in serious danger right now. Like, she comes in and she doesn't notice that he drops a penguin and he puts it
yes,
back.
the penguin,
Yeah,
which is
there's a little penguin
apparently,
figurine.
yeah, like apparently there's there's some debate on the penguin being some deeper meaning of like like image metaphor of just
He's the
isolation.
penguin.
Because
He's the
yeah,
penguin. Like,
yeah, because
it's
the penguin is like turned in a weird way, and it's like separate from all the other little like glass animals on this table.
and she specifies that the penguin is always facing north or south. Like, I forget which direction it was, but she says, my penguin's always facing north. Like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it's like that's like some crazy like photographic memory OCD shit right
Yep.
there. Like,
So she comes back and she discovers that he's been getting out of the room, and she basically goes like, what happened? Because I watched it about like 5 or 7 days ago. But once she discovers, oh god, the hobbling. Okay, now let's get to
yeah,
that.
she drugs him, and then he wakes up, and yes, you could go
Yeah.
walk us through the hobbling, Cammy.
Oh, okay. So Paul has taken a knife and he plans on stabbing her to death. Like, he's gonna once she tries feeding him, he's gonna try slicing her throat. He's read through her memory book that she keeps a scrapbook
Of
of
like
her.
all the headlines of her murders.
Oh, it's terrible, and all the murders are basically infants at a hospital that she worked at.
Infants or higher ups that caught on to her. Those are the
Mm.
people she murdered.
And she's gotten away with it too. She's like, she was put on trial and she got away with it because there was not sufficient evidence. And she's basically a free crazy person right now. And she notices the penguin is facing the wrong direction after he puts it back on the table, and she wakes him up, and she's like, "Oh, were you looking for this?" She holds up the knife and she says, Paul, what was it? Something about in African mining. Like, what do they do? She said,
Oh, they in order to make sure the slaves wouldn't run away again, but would still work, that they hobbled them.
they hobbled him, man. And she puts a plank of wood between his feet or his legs, around his ankles, and in one of the most graphic and, I mean, I'm not saying cringe in terms of embarrassing. I'm talking cringe in terms of, this is hard to watch. This is really hard to watch. She
I
takes
I
it.
will give them this. They only show one foot
Yes, they
getting
do.
the crack.
Yeah, because the second, okay, she takes a sledgehammer and says, explains hobbling to him, and she winds up and smashes his foot to a 90-degree angle. It is
it's
otherworldly
awful.
playing.
It's
And
like those awful like sports injuries you see where it's just a full bend.
it's a 90-degree turn, man. I mean, she cracks it. It's otherworldly pain. Like, and you feel it too, man. And then as the camera focuses on him, she does the other leg or the other foot. You don't see that, but Jesus, we already know this is bad. This
Yeah,
is
we
bad.
already one foot was enough. Also, back on her like weird like African slave thing, she's got like she has another racist moment besides that crack is like what made me laugh the hardest in the movie. She refers to Michelangelo as that Dago that painted the Sistine Chapel.
Jesus Christ. Oh God, man. She is the worst, like the worst country bumpkin racist sociopath stalker you could ever come across. Pure bad luck there,
uh,
man.
the worst. So he gets hobbled, and at this point his survival tactic is to just like play into her love for him.
Yep.
So he's like, he's like, I'm gonna make this book, and like he thinks love, and she's just like she does what I think is perhaps her worst crime of the entire movie, which is she just plays Liberace for nonstop for fucking days. I mean, just like swooping obnoxious piano
And
music.
he has to like humor her and be like, that sounds great, like do what you need to
I
do.
love Liberace.
Yes, I love Liberace. And finally, there's a detective in the movie. He's like the one police chief in the entire
Him
bumpkin
and his
county
wife
here.
is the deputy. It's a sheriff
I love
deputy. These
her.
are the
I love
best.
her. I
These are
love
the
her.
best characters in the movie. They are just your classic cantankerous, arguing redneck couple.
And I love the scene where she's like, he's probably cheating on me or something, and then he like hangs up the phone, or he picks up the phone or something, and he says something like, yeah, that's another girl that I'm gonna be with. He says something along those lines, but she knows he's full of shit. But like they have a really good back and forth rapport with one another. They have great chemistry on screen, basically. And finally, he comes down to the point where he knows that Paul Sheldon is missing, and he starts reading his books, and he reads a quote from one of his books and highlights it. And then he sees that quote in a newspaper article involving that chick, Annie Wilkes. That's when he gets a hair up his ass to go check it out. And he knocks on the door. He comes in. She's got Paul down in the basement. As soon as the police rolls up, she breaks into the room. She gets him downstairs, basically just drags him down. And the police chief, he's looking around, but then he gets a hair up his ass as he leaves because he hears this loud clunk, and he comes
Yeah,
back.
Paul's clunking around.
Yeah, and he comes back in, and he hears Paul saying, I'm down here," and he finds the entrance to the stairway to the basement. As soon as he opens the door, she blasts him through the chest with a shotgun. Blast him.
Kills the best character.
Yep.
Another one of her greatest crimes, man.
Yeah,
What
man.
a fuck.
And I remember when I was watching that with Michelle, she was like, "Oh no, not him." I was like, "Yep, that's how you build up a sympathetic and cool character and have them get killed off. That is so effective. It's the most effective scene in the movie because you realize, man, she's psychotic. Like she's a psychopath. She is completely unhinged, and now Paul is at a point where it's make or break, man. Within the next 24 hours, he's got to get out of here. And
Because she has put the timer on it, which is that she's going to kill herself and then him.
yep, it's like
Because
a Romeo and Juliet situation. She's
yes,
going
yes,
real
yes.
Shakespearean on him. And he's like, yeah, I'm into it, like let's do that. But let me finish the book. And he starts writing the finale to this. The only person who's ever going to read this book is her, and he knows it. So he writes this masterpiece of an ending, and he gives it to her. And as she comes back in, what does he do? um, she bends down, he drops something, and he picks up the typewriter, which he has
And
been
yeah, he smashes her.
yeah, and he's been training himself with this typewriter for the past like month, 2 months, and he's
Yeah,
like,
while she's not in the room, he's just lifting it above his head,
yeah, it's
doing
his,
his reps in.
yeah, he's getting his reps in, and he's making sure that he's able to do this because, good lord,
He's not missing arm day.
no, he's not. He's not missing. No, he smashes the shit out of her. She is incapacitated, and he makes a futile attempt to get out of there, but she quickly recovers because she's. I mean, Kathy Bates. Her body frame is one to be reckoned with. She is a big lady, and
She's a real Bam Bam Bigelow.
yeah, man, she's the female Bam Bam, and she gets up. And she starts going at him. He trips her up. She falls head first onto the typewriter, and he starts crawling out of the room. And then she jumps back on him like a great classic finale. In terms
Yeah,
of
that could
like,
got the classic jump, the second jump.
yeah, man. That okay, you think she's dead now, and then like any classic great horror villain, she jumps back for one more, and he crawls towards an elephant, a brass elephant, I believe it is, and finally just smashes the fuck out of her, and she's finally dead. And that's the end of Annie Wilkes. She's done, finally.
Couldn't happen to a nicer psychopath.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit our time. We've been going on quite a bit here. That's the first half of the most horrible horror characters in film history, and as Jesse likes to bring in, literary history. So next week we're going to hit you with part 2 of the most horrible horror characters. So I hope you enjoyed us. This was our what we did: Larry Vaughn, Herbert West, and Annie Wilkes. 3 classic horror characters.
Yeah.
I think we covered them quite well, don't you think?
Oh yeah, we covered we covered them well, and we also got to have some fun little side offshoots, and that's all I can really ask for an episode. Insight on life, movies, whatever with sharks.
Yeah, and we want to keep it a little bit shorter this week, so hell, that's what we're going to end it on. So everyone, keep listening, cumbersome guys. We hope.
Hey yo.
Yeah, there we go. Have a good night, good day, whatever. Peace.